Welcome to SuperHero Pow. I'm your host nerd, Tom Friendly. Well, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Thought I'd try out something new today, a little more low-key video rather than the big productions I usually do. So just kind of trying this out and see how it goes. This hopefully will make my videos a little bit more immediate and allow you to participate in them a little bit more, have more feedback. Allow you to have more feedback and allow me to address you more directly. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. But I still plan to do bigger videos and, of course, work on some more cartoon videos. But with this newer format, it's just going to allow me to cover topics a little more faster, which I'm hoping will mean will be a little more fun. So with this first one, I thought I'd talk about a real hot button topic in comic books, and that is sexual imagery in comic books. Is there sexual imagery in comic books? Do artists draw characters to be sexually attractive? That answer is yes. Unless you've never seen a comic book in your entire life, yeah, they are drawn to be sexually attractive people in comic books. I believe it was Neil Adams who one time said that superheroes are basically all naked. They just have body paint on them. So, yeah. When somebody says, hey, there's sexual imagery in comic book, you're like, yeah, there is. And I saw a study a little while ago saying that I guess somebody got out a caliper or a ruler and started to measure women's bust sizes in comic books, and it's gotten bigger over the years. So I think that's a strong indication that there's sexual imagery in comic books, though we probably have the plastic surgery industry to thank for all that. But yeah, there's no denying it. There is sexual imagery in comic books. And I got to say, I don't think there's really anything wrong with that. Now, of course, there needs to be a certain amount of discretion in it as well. I mean, these are heroic fantasies. It's not supposed to be some sort of adult material. Don't get me wrong in what I'm saying here. I'm not saying, it should all be rated XXX in comic books. It's no big deal. Suck on it. Not saying that at all. I'm just saying, everybody's wearing a skin-tight costume and everybody's pretty. When you start pushing beyond that, then I think it's a worthy discussion to say, what is and what isn't appropriate in these stories. Because first and foremost, I feel like that's what we're doing. We're telling stories. Even in movies and in cartoons, we're telling stories. So the thing is, what is the point of the story? What is the point of the characters? And what is appropriate? That's all. I don't think that's massive to put the shoe on the other foot. I feel like that's not massive censorship to sit there and say, hey, certain things are appropriate in certain stories and certain things are not appropriate in certain stories. That's all. You want to do X, Y, Z, fine, go do X, Y, Z, but it's not appropriate here. That's all. It's not that big deal. And that's why I sit there and say, hey, Wonder Woman has an unrealistic physique. Well, sure, she's Wonder Woman. Of course she's going to have an unrealistic physique. Well, but even Lois Lane has an unrealistic physique. Am I saying that right? And there I would say, yeah, you're probably right. She does have an unrealistic physique. But you know what? It really doesn't matter because almost nobody has a realistic physique in comic books unless they completely go out of their way to do it. I remember looking at one comic book years ago. I believe the artist was Chuck Patterson, who sadly left comic books to make way more money in animation. But I was a big fan of his comic book work. And he just had, regular people sitting on a beach. It's this beach scene, regular people on the beach, and they all had abs. They were all built. These are normal. These weren't superheroes. These are just normal people at the beach. I don't care what beach you go to. You're never going to see anybody who looks like that. That's just the way comic books are. That's the way it's done. On some level, it's no harm, no foul. They're fantasies. It's not supposed to be real. It's supposed to be something that takes us out of our quote-unquote humdrum lives and, I don't know, gives our mind a reprise, so to speak. But I do think it's important to admit the sexual imagery is there. Over the years, I've seen comic book artists try to defend themselves online when people have been like, oh, you drew something overtly sexy. And the artist be like, well, no, I didn't. And it's like, yeah, you did. You totally did. Why are you denying it? You think we're going to take you to jail, fire you? That you drew something sexy in a comic book? It's fine. Just admit you did it and said, yeah, I did it. Did I push it too far? Sorry if I pushed it too far. The editor said it was okay, but, if I pushed it too far, I'm sorry. These artists know. Whenever I hear them say, they go, well, I didn't do that. And it's like, come on. The number one job of an artist is to be able to communicate with their artwork. If they can't do that, then they're terrible artists. They need to go back to school. If they don't understand that, if you put a woman's butt up in the air, that's not sexual, they need to go back to school and learn how to be an artist. But I believe they're all just lying. Which, again, why? Just admit it. I also find it funny when people try to defend it by saying, oh, Namor is completely naked. It's the same thing. Men are sexualized just as much as the women in the comic book. And no, they're not. They're not at all. And what I mean by that is male nudity is very different than female nudity. It's the way we're wired, okay? It doesn't play the same way. Several years ago, there was a magazine called Playgirl. It was supposed to be the female equivalent of Playboy, where you could see pictures of nude men. And while, yes, some women bought it, it mostly got bought by gay guys. Because even though they're gay, they're still men, and they're wired that way. Visual imagery, for whatever reason, is more important to men than it is to women. So male sexual imagery is very different than female sexual imagery because it lands differently. Now, I know some of this does go into the realm of, what are we teaching people about values? Are we saying only pretty people matter? And no, I don't think that's it. I think most people, the majority of people understand that even though, Psylocke and Jean Grey look like that, real people don't look like that. And we shouldn't be judging real people by whether or not they look like Psylocke. In the same vein, you can have the argument of, most superhero comic books solve their problems with fist fights. And again, I feel like most people know we don't solve real problems in the world with fist fights. Reminds me of, I think it was Mo Howard of the Three Stooges one time was asked about his view of whether the violence in the Three Stooges had a bad effect on society or kids. And he had mentioned studies that he had seen that said that any children had an adverse effect being exposed to the Three Stooges violence usually had issues beyond just seeing a video. But with sexual imagery, of course, our culture is very steeped in my little talk can't cover every single facet of it. It's huge and it's immense, but I think you can boil it down to, there's nothing wrong with it. Men find certain things attractive and women find other things attractive. And, you can't tell us what to like and we can't tell you what to like. You like what you like. The main goal is just not to make it harmful and don't be a dick. That's all. Not sure we have to worry about it. So go ahead. Have a certain degree of sexual imagery in comic books. It's fine. Though I suppose this kind of can all lead to, anime fans who are marrying their pillows. And that's not good. But, moderation, people. That's all. Just moderation. Don't worry about it. Don't marry your pillow. All right, thanks for watching, or listening, or however you did this. And if you could be so kind to like and subscribe, yeah, I'll do this again. Leave me a comment or send me a message if you want me to talk about something else. I can do that. Take care.